Hey there. I'm Rebecca, a 24-year-old newlywed, married to the love of my life, Jordan. I've got a wild story from my wedding day to share, and it's all about my mother-in-law, Cherry, who tried to turn my big day into a total disaster. Let's start from the beginning, how Jordan and I met. We first crossed paths at a college event where Jordan was performing with his band. His voice instantly captivated me, and after the show, I managed to strike up a conversation with him. From that moment on, we clicked and began spending more time together. 3 years flew by and we decided to tie the knot. Now, something you need to know is that although Jordan and I have a wonderful relationship, his mom, Cherry, never liked me. From the moment I came into his life, she made it clear that she wasn't fond of me. She was controlling, judgmental, and tried everything to make me miserable. One example, when we invited both of our families over to our new apartment to celebrate, I cooked a big meal while Jordan handled the cleaning and decorating. Yet, no matter what we did, Cherry complained nonstop. She criticized the food, my outfit, and even the apartment's cleanliness. Everyone else ignored her, but Jordan's dad, Damon, would occasionally tell her to stop. I kept my cool, but eventually Jordan had enough. Honestly, this dinner isn't great. If I were in charge, I'd have done much more for Jordan. This is his first apartment, it deserves more, Cherry said in her usual condescending tone. Enough, Mom, Jordan cut her off. But I was just saying, she began, but Jordan wasn't having it. No, you've been rude all night. Rebecca worked hard on this dinner, and you need to appreciate that, Jordan snapped. Well, fine, whatever. Sorry, Cherry muttered, clearly annoyed. I think that apology was a little too late, but whatever, I replied, trying to keep the peace. Jordan wasn't done though. And for the record, Mom, this apartment is ours, not just mine. Rebecca did this dinner with me, so thank you for your input on how we did our job. Cherry flustered, backpedaling. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Save it, Jordan said, and that was the end of it. That was a turning point. From then on, Cherry kept her distance, and her attitude toward me softened. Thankfully, no more rude comments. She stayed silent when I was around, and honestly, I enjoyed the peace. After Jordan proposed during a perfect beach day, I thought the worst was behind me, but Cherry's resentment only grew. She may have kept quiet, but her actions spoke louder. One time she accidentally spilled hot tea on me, and another time she accidentally shoved me down the stairs while I was wearing heels. I didn't retaliate because I didn't want to stir the pot. Instead, I allowed her to help with some of the wedding planning in an attempt to keep things civil. One of the things I was most excited about was choosing my wedding gown, and I invited her to join me. Everything started fine, but as soon as the focus wasn't on her, Cherry caused a scene. She complained about the dresses, pinched the fabric, and even pretended to adjust things with safety pins, poking me in the process. She argued with the cashier about prices, even though Jordan and I could afford whatever we wanted. It became clear she was only after attention. Eventually, the manager had to ask her to leave after she started yelling about how awful the store was. That was my breaking point. I was humiliated and physically hurt. I told Jordan everything afterward. It was a disaster today, babe, I said, exhausted. What happened? Jordan asked, looking concerned. Your mom humiliated me. It's a miracle she wasn't there the whole time. Wait, she wasn't? Where did she go? He asked, confused. She got kicked out for causing a scene. You can imagine how she behaved, I explained. Oh no, are you okay? Jordan asked, worried. Well, she poked me with safety pins, insulted all my dress choices, and tried to argue over the prices. I'm so sorry. What do you want to do about it? He asked gently. I don't want her involved in the wedding anymore. She's a hazard. At this rate, I might have scratches on my wedding day, I said, frustrated. Of course, babe, if you don't want it, it's not happening. I'll let her know, Jordan assured me. Go take a bath, relax. Thank you, Jordan, I said, feeling a little relieved. We decided to distance ourselves from Cherry for the sake of avoiding any further drama. While we did try to address her behavior, she either didn't care or played the victim. It was too much to handle, so we cut her off until the wedding. Being out of the loop on the wedding planning only made things worse for Cherry. She started sending angry texts, but luckily, Jordan's dad, Damon, had our back. He told us not to worry about her and to focus on the wedding. That was such a relief and allowed me to put everything into planning my dream wedding, down to the tiniest detail. Everything was ready, and I had forgotten all about Cherry's drama. But then during my bachelorette party, Laura, my maid of honor and best friend, brought her up. "Do you think Cherry will do something at your wedding?" Laura asked. I shrugged it off. "I doubt it." "Well, you did leave her out of the planning. She might cause trouble," Laura pointed out. "I don't think she'll do anything," I replied. "She loves the attention, Rebecca." "You know she'll want to be the center of attention on your big day," Laura insisted. "I'm not sure," I hesitated. "You know she'll try to ruin it." "What's stopping her now?" Laura said with conviction. Okay. What do you suggest?" I asked finally. "Let's be prepared. We'll make a plan and only use it if she tries to pull something. If she wants attention, we'll give it to her, put the spotlight on her, and watch her reputation fall apart," Laura suggested. "Isn't that a bit much?" I questioned. "A bit much? She's trying to ruin your day. Just trust me," Laura said. "All right, I'm trusting you with this," I agreed. And finally the big day arrived. The excitement and nerves hit me as I walked down the aisle. But when I saw Jordan at the end, carrying up and smiling, I knew it was all worth it. I couldn't help but feel overjoyed as I walked down the aisle, my heart set on spending the rest of my life with Jordan. It was a moment I had dreamt of, and as I looked around, I saw nothing but smiles and tears of happiness. The air was electric with joy, and it felt as if all the planning and effort I had put into this day was finally paying off. But little did I know, Cherry had other plans in mind. As the ceremony began, Cherry's true colors started to show. Seated in the first row, she was visibly upset, probably because all the attention wasn't on her. Her scowl was enough to make anyone uncomfortable, but she wasn't done yet. As the officiant began the ceremony, Cherry started whispering sarcastic comments, criticizing the decorations, the seating arrangement, the vows, and just about everything else. Her passive-aggressive mutterings could be heard throughout the hall, making many of our guests uneasy. Some shot her a few disapproving glares, while others coughed to drown out her negativity. When Jordan and I exchanged rings, Cherry audibly scoffed and rolled her eyes, as though she found the entire event beneath her. Her lack of support was palpable, and it made the moment feel less sacred. But Jordan and I pushed through, trying to ignore her disruptions. On the way to the reception, Jordan and I talked about the chaos. "What is wrong with her?" Jordan said, shaking his head. "I know, right? I can't believe the audacity," I replied, feeling exhausted by it all. "I'm having a talk with her." "Don't try to stop me," he said, frustration clear in his voice. "Oh, believe me, I won't. You might have to hold me back," I teased, trying to lighten the mood. "You know what? We still have our plan. Let's turn the tables. She wants attention." "Fine, we'll give her all the spotlight," Jordan said, his tone determined. "Yes. Should I signal Laura?" I asked. "Absolutely. She needs to see herself for what she is," Jordan agreed firmly. "I can't wait for this to be over. We deserve so much better," I sighed. "Yes, we do. If this doesn't work, we'll cut her off completely. We'll start fresh," Jordan added. We arrived at the reception with renewed energy, ready to enjoy our day. The music played, drinks flowed, and the celebration began. Jordan and I shared our first dance, inviting everyone to join us. Laughter and joy filled the room as we all celebrated. But of course, Cherry wasn't done yet. She had more tricks up her sleeve. Throughout the reception, she found something to complain about, everything from the flowers to the seating arrangements to who was standing next to her. When she realized no one was paying attention to her, she took it a step further, trying to sabotage the cake-cutting ceremony by pushing me into the cake. Thankfully, Jordan was quick enough to stop her. When that failed, Cherry tried to spill her drink on me, but she ended up tripping and spilling it all over herself. Her frustration grew. Her last stunt was holding a blown-out candle up to the smoke detector, triggering the fire alarm. The alarm went off and chaos briefly erupted. However, Jordan swiftly took control, getting security to check the alarm, and we were told to continue without issue. As the night wore on, Jordan and I decided to make a toast. While our guests made heartfelt speeches, Cherry felt the need to speak. She grabbed the microphone and began boasting about her own achievements and how she had always been the guiding force in her son's life. The room fell silent, the air thick with awkwardness as everyone exchanged uncomfortable glances. But Cherry didn't care. She reveled in the attention, oblivious to the embarrassment she was causing. Jordan and I exchanged looks, and I signaled Laura. It was time to put our plan into action. Before the wedding, Laura and I had devised a strategy. We knew that Cherry would try to ruin our day, so we set up cameras on all the bridesmaids, groomsmen, and waitstaff. Our plan was simple: get Cherry talking and let her expose herself. As the night unfolded, the bridesmaids and groomsmen engaged her in casual conversation, prompting her to vent. Cherry spilled her bitterness about me, even going so far as to say she wished she could stop the wedding altogether. We also had our waitstaff play a part, ensuring Cherry's service was subpar, mishandled drinks, and incorrect orders. Her frustration built with each passing moment, encouraging her to voice her displeasure more loudly. When she attempted to spill a drink on me, one of the staff subtly tripped her, causing her to spill it on herself. And of course, we caught it all on camera. As the evening drew to a close, we gathered all the footage. Our best man, who worked in videography, compiled everything, and we handed it off to Laura on a USB drive. It was time to expose Cherry for who she really was. With all eyes on her, we dimmed the lights and projected the video. The footage showed Cherry making rude remarks, complaining about the wedding, and even setting off the smoke alarm. The room was stunned, and the guests were shocked at the lengths she'd gone to sabotage her son's wedding. By the end of the video, everyone's eyes were on Cherry, many of them glaring at her in disbelief. Cherry, caught off guard, tried to defend herself, but before she could respond, Laura took the microphone. With a mischievous smile, she began recounting embarrassing stories about Cherry, much to the crowd's amusement. Laughter filled the room as everyone enjoyed seeing Cherry in the hot seat. Cherry's face turned bright red with rage. She tried to shout over the laughter, but Laura wouldn't let up. "That's not true. Stop this now," Cherry demanded, trembling with anger. Laura, unfazed, shot back, "If I asked anyone in this room about a bad experience, they'd all mention that one time with Cherry." Cherry's fists clenched as she looked around the room, her voice rising in desperation. "Why is no one stopping her?" she shouted. "Sweetheart," Laura said with a sharp edge to her voice, "if everyone tolerates you, they can tolerate me. I'm being an angel compared to you." Cherry, desperate for support, turned to Jordan. "Jordan, please. Do something. She's embarrassing me." Jordan, calm as ever, responded, "Embarrassing you? No, she's just having fun. Everyone seems to be enjoying it," he said with a knowing smile. Cherry's anger boiled over, but before she could say anything else, I signaled the DJ to crank up the music, drowning her out. The crowd returned to the dance floor, leaving Cherry alone, seething. It was a moment of pure satisfaction. After years of being belittled by Cherry, I had finally turned the tables. The humiliation she had caused me for so long had come back to bite her. Unable to handle the embarrassment, Cherry stormed off, leaving the rest of us to continue the celebration in peace. The rest of the evening was filled with love and joy, free from her toxic presence. Our revenge had been sweet, and we were reminded that actions have consequences, and kindness always prevails. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.